The sun rose over Jetavana, casting golden light across the forest. Awakening the world with its gentle warmth, I approached the Buddha, my mind restless with thoughts, seeking solace in his presence and his infinite wisdom. He sat beneath a Bodhi tree, his posture serene, his gaze soft yet penetrating, inviting without demanding. "Blessed One," I said, "I am burdened by memories of actions I cannot undo, words I cannot unspeak." The Buddha turned his attention to me, his calm demeanor radiating compassion that seemed to dissolve my agitation instantly. "Regret is a shadow of the past," he began, his voice like a steady river, soothing and profound. "It clings to the heart when we allow the mind to wander into what cannot be changed," he continued. I knelt before him, absorbing his words, feeling both their simplicity and the immense depth they carried. "Let me tell you a story," he said, "of a man named Rahula, whose heart was heavy with sorrow." Rahula, a potter, was known for crafting vessels of exceptional beauty. His hands skilled, his art widely admired. He watered his crops in the cool morning, allowing the moisture to seep into the soil deeply. He studied the winds and built barriers to protect his plants from gusts that could uproot them. He fled the palace in despair, his mind consumed by thoughts of punishment and the disgrace he would face. The Buddha paused, allowing his words to settle, before continuing the tale, each sentence deliberate and clear. Rahula wandered into the forest, where he came upon a pond, its waters still and reflecting the clear sky. He sat by the water, his tears falling silently, his reflection trembling on the rippling surface of the pond. Despite his labor, his fields bore little fruit, leaving him disheartened and questioning his destiny. "Amara came to me seeking answers," Buddha said, his voice carrying compassion and wisdom. Rahula noticed the Buddha approaching, his steps unhurried, his presence as tranquil as the forest surrounding him. "Why do you weep, my friend?" the Buddha asked gently, his voice carrying no judgment, only understanding and care. Rahula replied, "I have destroyed what I cannot restore. My hands have failed, and my honor is now lost. Effort, devoid of awareness and adaptability, becomes a wheel spinning in mud, expending energy without progress." Buddha leaned forward, his voice lowering, drawing his disciples deeper into the moment. Rahula looked at him, unsure, his mind clinging to the shards of regret that filled his thoughts relentlessly. The Buddha took a handful of leaves and released them into the pond, watching them float and drift away. "These leaves," he said, "were once part of a tree. Now they rest upon the water, moving with the current." Rahula watched the leaves, their movement seemingly free, unburdened, and yet at the mercy of the stream's flow. "You are like these leaves," the Buddha said. "But unlike them, you can choose whether to resist or to drift." Rahula's expression softened, a hint of understanding beginning to appear, his heart craving release from its self-imposed chains. The Buddha continued, "What is broken cannot be mended, but how you act now shapes what follows. So, Master," he asked, "should I surrender to the forces that move me, like the river does?" Buddha's smile widened, his approval evident in his eyes. "Not surrender," he said, "but understand and harmonize with these forces." I felt a wave of clarity wash over me as the Buddha spoke, his teachings resonating deeply within my spirit. He turned his attention back to me, saying, "Regret anchors us to the past, but acceptance liberates us to act wisely. Awareness is the foundation of wisdom." He instructed his disciples to find silence within themselves, to listen to the whispers of the world around them. He confessed his mistake to the king, who, instead of punishing him, praised his courage and his honesty in return. Rahula's skill blossomed anew, his hands now guided by mindfulness, his creations reflecting not perfection but his profound, living wisdom. The Buddha concluded the tale, his voice serene, yet its impact reverberating within me, stirring a deep sense of peace. Blessed One, I said, how can I begin to let go, to follow the path you have shown so clearly? He smiled, his expression one of infinite compassion, as though understanding the weight of the question I had asked. Begin by observing your mind, he said. Watch its tendencies. See how it clings to shadows of what was and cannot be. The present moment is vast, he added, and within it lies the only power you possess, the ability to act now. Each word he spoke felt like a key unlocking the chambers of my heart, long barred by the burdens of regret. He said, when you act with compassion and wisdom, the past loses its power to define you. You create a new path. I bowed to him, my heart lighter, as though a storm had passed and left behind a clear, radiant sky. The mechanisms of your mind, Buddha said, are like the river carving through rock. They move with or without your will. Do not despair over broken vessels, he said, for each shard holds the potential to reflect the light of wisdom. I carried his words with me, their weight no burden but a blessing, guiding me toward the path of liberation. Another day, the forest of Jetavana awakened, its trees swaying gently as the morning breeze carried whispers of life. I found the Buddha sitting under the shade of an ancient tree, his presence calm and unwavering as always. Blessed One, I began, my voice hesitant, though I try. My mind remains entangled in thoughts of what I might change. He opened his eyes, serene as a still pond, and turned his gaze towards me, his attention undivided. Regret, he said, his voice gentle, often arises because the mind holds tightly to a story it has told itself. I bowed my head, feeling the truth of his words, my heart heavy with longing for clarity and peace. Let me share a story, the Buddha said, of a woman named Rukmini, whose mind sought escape from her past. Rukmini was a skilled weaver, her hands adept at creating tapestries admired in villages and kingdoms alike for their beauty. One day, while hurriedly finishing a piece, her hand slipped, and she ruined a design meant for a royal gift. Her heart sank, and though the mistake was minor, she imagined the king's disappointment and saw only disgrace ahead. She retreated to her home, her mind spiraling through every possible consequence, each thought darker than the last. The Buddha paused, his words deliberate, allowing the story to unfold within the sanctuary of my mind's understanding. When Rukmini sought the Buddha, her face was pale, her spirit burdened, her hands trembling from the weight of fear. Blessed One, she said, I have dishonored myself and my craft. My mistake has stained what cannot be undone. The Buddha invited her to sit, his gesture kind, his presence reassuring, creating space for her to release her fears. He handed her a needle and thread, his actions silent yet purposeful, his teachings always grounded in the practical and profound. What do you see? He asked, as she held the needle, her brow furrowed with curiosity and confusion at his request. I see a tool, she answered hesitantly, something used to mend or create, though my hands feel unworthy to hold it. The Buddha nodded, his expression unwavering, as though her words carried a truth he had long expected to hear. This tool can restore the broken, shape the unformed, and create anew, he said, just as your mind can transform. Rukmini listened, her heart awakening to the possibility that her hands and mind could bring healing where she saw only loss. Every thread you weave carries intention, the Buddha continued. Yet no thread is without flaw, no fabric entirely without imperfection. His words resonated deeply, as though they wove themselves into her being, becoming a part of her unspoken understanding. You cannot unweave the past, he said, but you can decide what pattern you will begin crafting from this moment. I sat silently, the story of Rukmini opening doors within me, showing pathways to acceptance where walls of regret once stood. His caravan reached its destination, not only with goods intact but also with newfound allies and opportunities awaiting. Fortune, Buddha said, is not a random occurrence but the result of choices that resonate with the universe's inherent harmony. He emphasized the importance of fostering goodwill and gratitude as fundamental habits that attract positive outcomes. One disciple raised his hand and asked, "Master, how can we ensure our actions align with these invisible threads of fortune and harmony?" Buddha smiled, acknowledging the disciple's earnest desire to deepen his understanding and practice of the teachings. I felt his words settle in my heart, their simplicity profound, their wisdom illuminating corners of my mind I feared to tread. "Blessed One," I asked, "how does one cultivate this mindfulness? This steady hand that weaves a life of wisdom and love?" He smiled, his gaze steady and kind, as though the question itself revealed the yearning of my spirit to grow. "Begin by observing your thoughts without judgment," he said, like a weaver inspecting threads for flaws. Acknowledging them without despair. See how your mind clings to certain threads. Replaying them, magnifying them, weaving patterns of regret and self-condemnation, he continued. "Release these threads," he said, "not with force, but with awareness, understanding that their hold weakens when met with gentle observation." His words felt like a map to freedom, showing me the way to untangle the knots of my own suffering. Rukmini learned to weave again, not fearing mistakes, but embracing them as part of the greater tapestry of her life. Her creations became more beautiful, not because they were perfect, but because they carried the wisdom of her transformation. I looked at the Buddha, my heart full of gratitude, for he had shown me a way to move forward. "Blessed One," I said, "your teachings are like the finest threads, strong yet delicate, weaving wisdom into the fabric of our lives." He said, "Remember, the present moment is where the threads of your life come together. Weave it with care and mindfulness." As the day turned to evening, I left his presence, carrying his teachings like a needle, ready to mend my spirit. Each step I took felt lighter, as though the ground itself supported my journey toward a life of greater understanding and peace. Another day, the skies above Jetavana turned golden as the sun embraced the earth, painting the forest in gentle hues. I approached the Buddha, his silhouette calm against the backdrop of rustling leaves, his presence like an anchor for wandering souls. "Blessed One," I said, my voice unsure, though I strive to live rightly. Doubts of my worth often cloud my judgment. The Buddha opened his eyes, his gaze steady yet kind, carrying a profound patience that seemed to embrace all fears. "Let me share a story," he began, his tone gentle but firm, "of a noblewoman named Amara who sought inner freedom. Amara had wealth, beauty, and influence, yet her heart felt empty, longing for something greater than the comforts she possessed. She spent her days organizing grand feasts for the nobility, her nights sleepless, haunted by the question, 'Have I lived rightly?'" The Buddha paused, allowing the weight of her inner turmoil to settle, his presence inviting reflection without demanding judgment. One day, Amara heard of the Buddha and journeyed to meet him, her heart carrying both hope and trepidation in equal measure. She stood before him, her elegant robes swirling gently with the breeze, her expression revealing the depth of her inner struggle. "Blessed One," she said, "I have lived a life of privilege, yet I feel as though I have achieved nothing meaningful." The Buddha invited her to sit, his gesture soft yet purposeful, his teachings grounded in compassion and transformative understanding. He handed her a flower, its petals vibrant and delicate, a quiet marvel of nature's beauty and simplicity. "What do you see?" he asked, his voice carrying a tone of curiosity, urging her to look beyond the surface of the flower. "A blossom," she replied, something beautiful, yet fragile, something fleeting that carries both life and an end within itself. The Buddha nodded, his gaze unwavering, his teachings flowing like the river, gentle yet strong, profound in their simplicity. This flower, he said, exists for a moment in time, yet it fulfills its purpose fully, leaving nothing undone or wasted. Amara listened, her heart opening to his words, her spirit hungry for the wisdom that radiated from his presence. The flower does not regret its past, he continued, nor does it fear its future. It simply lives its purpose completely. Humans often fail to see their own beauty and potential, as they are bound by regrets and fears, he added softly. Amara felt his words resonate deeply, as though they touched an unseen chord within her heart, stirring profound self-reflection. What must I do, Blessed One? She asked, her voice trembling with both longing and a growing sense of determination. He said, begin by understanding that your actions in this moment carry the power to create harmony and meaning in your life. He encouraged his disciples to practice mindfulness in their efforts, recognizing the interconnectedness of their actions and their outcomes. Fortune does not arise from chaotic or haphazard actions, Buddha explained, but from disciplined and intentional choices that reflect the values we hold dear. Once a farmer asked me how he could free himself from sorrow, the Buddha said. Beginning another story to teach, the farmer, named Nanda, had lost his crops to a storm, his heart heavy with the burden of his lost labor. The disciples gathered once more beneath the Bodhi tree, their hearts open to the wisdom Buddha would share. Among them sat Sarva, an artist whose spirit felt tethered by the elusive fire of inspiration. Her story teaches us that fortune is not merely luck but the natural consequence of alignment and dedication. One disciple hesitantly asked, Master, what if we struggle to maintain these habits or lose sight of our purpose amidst life's distractions? Buddha's gaze softened, his voice carrying reassurance as he addressed the disciples' concerns with compassion and wisdom. The same is true for every action, no matter how modest. When guided by mindful intention, he added with quiet strength, Nanda left with the seed, planting it with care, and within seasons, his fields flourished anew, bringing joy and sustenance. Amara listened attentively, the story of Nanda settling within her spirit, showing her the quiet strength of mindful right action. Blessed One, she said, her voice steady now, how can I ensure that my choices align with wisdom and create lasting meaning? The Buddha smiled, his gaze carrying both warmth and encouragement, his teachings ever grounded in the realities of human striving. Act from love, he said, for compassion connects all beings, bringing harmony where division once caused sorrow and isolation. Act with wisdom, he added, for awareness transforms intention into deeds that uplift both yourself and those around you. Act with courage, he concluded, for freedom is found when fear no longer dictates your choices or limits your potential. Amara bowed, her heart lighter, her mind clearer, her spirit awakened to the teachings that now guided her life forward. As the day turned to dusk, the Buddha addressed me once more, his presence radiating calm and quiet strength. The ultimate freedom, he said, comes not from escaping pain or fear, but from embracing the present with wisdom and love. His words settled within me, shaping the understanding I sought, their simplicity profound, their truth echoing in the depths of my heart. Each step I took away from the forest felt like an act of right action, guided by the wisdom he had shared. The teachings were not merely lessons. They were a way of being, a path to living without regret or fear. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.